Okay, this is going to be a real simple tutorial on just how to basically make a collar. Some people were asking for a tutorial on how to make a collar in Blender, so I'm just going to give a little bit of just a little bit of a tutorial on it. Okay, first things first, delete all of this out. Secondly, we're going to come up here, we're going to grab a torus, this torus right here. And so with this torus, when we first insert it, we can come down here and edit torus. So I like working with like, say about 32. 32 is about what I like. And so what I like doing is I come into here, and to make a real simple collar, what we're gonna do is we're actually not gonna keep this entire thing. So we're gonna click on it, we're gonna hit tab, go into edit mode here. We're gonna delete off. So we're gonna delete off a good chunk of this. Basically, we're gonna keep these two lines right here and delete the rest of it. So we're gonna go ahead and just come around here. Just this is, you know, click and then control click all the way around. Do this. Just do this for all of these real quick. Same thing through here. And we're just you're gonna right click and we're gonna hit delete faces. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the bottom. We're gonna leave these two, same thing on the bottom. We're gonna leave the two on the inside right here as well. We're just gonna come in here. We're gonna delete everything else in between, so we can just go ahead and control click around here. That's fine. Just gonna go ahead and just get all this out of here. Then we're gonna click here, control click there. Same thing here. Right click, delete. And so what we got going on here is we have an inner and an outer, okay? And so what we're gonna wanna do is we can either A, keep both of these and connect them and have a really thin collar, which we don't really want that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click just one square here. If we use the quick command Control L, which is select all that are linked. And we're going to increase the size of this one. So then it's basically going to end up matching up. We're gonna have to shrink it down just a smidgen though. We're gonna match it up to the inside of here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave a little bit of a space because these faces should basically just about match up. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here. We're gonna click, we're gonna hit 2, switch to our line select up here. We're gonna hit F. And then now that we've made that one, we can go ahead and select this one. Just hit F and it'll go ahead and do everything for you if you hold it down. You can do the same thing on the bottom. I'm gonna hold F again. And so right now we have a pretty good little basic collar going on right here. And so when we wanna do more like advanced things, like this is pretty good like low poly. If you want it to be flatter or smoother, we're gonna do the same thing with we're gonna go around here on the inside. We're gonna click all these little dots on the inside on this inner line. What we're actually gonna do is we're gonna bring them in just a smidgen, smooth it out, flatten it out. Keep this one flat. You can do the same thing on the outside. We're just gonna bring them inward just a little bit. So right now it is flat on the inside and outside. And so right now this is our basic like low poly collar. And then if we want to make it a little more advanced than just this, depending on what you want to do, we can add some subdivisions in here. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take the subdivision tool here in the edit mode. We're gonna click here, we're gonna add a line on top, we're gonna add a line on bottom. What I like to do is I end up liking to bevel. So when we bevel, I like adding extra lines. So you usually put it towards the edge lines. You add an extra line when you're beveling to help that bevel and help it really crease better. So we're gonna add a line on each inside portion. Let me get through here. Make sure I did on all of them. I'm gonna do one on top as well. And so now we have all these extra lines. So whenever we bevel, it'll help out quite a bit. Depending on what you want to do or the style you want to do, you can do a lot of different things, like, you know, add a bevel, subdivide it, add indentions and whatnot. So like what we're gonna do here, one of my styles that I really like to do is I like to add like an indentation. So now that we've added those extra lines, we're gonna come inside here. We're gonna select all these faces again. And we're we're going to actually just grab them, and we're just gonna extrude, and we're going to not do anything. We're just gonna right click and just let it do its thing. I'm just gonna pull it in just a little bit. We're gonna give it that little edge right there. You see that edge like that? You can give it a little bit of an edge. Do the same thing on the outside. Just go all the way around. Select all these faces. Same thing on the bottom. All the way around. And hit E, right click, and then we're going to shrink it in just a little bit. So we have a little bit of a lip like this. You see we have a lip on the inside, we got a lip on the outside. So now what we're going to do is go here to the right side with this wrench with the modifiers. We're going to hit add modifier. We're going to go to generate. We're going to hit bevel first. Always remember bevel before subdivision, because when we subdivide in bevel, it usually messes up and the geometry gets kind of messed up. So since we have such good geometry and it's very aligned, we could say very, very good. It's not like all over the place. It's way easier for us to just hit bevel first. So we're gonna go ahead and bevel. And so when we bevel and we increase the segment amounts, it's going to increase the amount of segments it's going to cut these edges to. I'm just going to increase it to about, I want to say, we're going to do 3, and we're going to turn this up to like, I think that should be fine, just like that. And then we're going to go add another modifier. Go to subdivision surface, add that. And so now what's going to happen is going to add a bunch of extra subdivisions and a bunch of cuts into this, which if we come in here, we can actually see what we're doing when we turn on and off this right here, and actually show us what we're doing to this collar right here. So now that we got to this point, you can actually still edit while we're doing these. I'm going to actually add one more in cut in the center, because that's another one of my things I like doing. Just like doing some like fun little I like my neon lights, so I like doing like extra stuff. So I'll add 2, and then I'm gonna do 1, 2, just like that. I'm gonna go all the way around again, selecting all the way around here. Just doing this the basic way so people can follow along. And then we go all the way around. Do the same thing with the bottom portion here. Just like this. Keep it going. And then we're going to hit E again to extrude, but we're just going to right click. And then just like last time, we're going to inset this. We're going to shrink it down. So then we kind of have a gap like this is going on here. So before I unselect all this, I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the material tab. We're going to make a new material for the entire thing, but I want this material down here for this to be different for the light. So I'm going to add another material. I'm just going to make it like purple for right now, and I'm going to hit assign. So now if we come into here, this should be white, and then this should be colored. So for the collar, for the basic, I just want this to basically just be a black collar. So we're just going to turn this all black. And then we're going to turn down, we're going to turn up the roughness a little bit, the metallic, just a smidgen. And then for this guy, we are going to do just a real simple mission here. We're just going to, let's make it red. And then we're going to go to emission. We're going to change this to red. We're going to turn up the strength here. Depending on the effects you want as we're in here, we have Eevee and Cycles is 2 different rendering. It'll look a lot different when you render for your balloon. So Eevee's real flat. Cycles gets that extra balloon and gives you that extra light that you want, depending on the strength of the material, as well as also if you have lights and things like that. I don't want to go too hard on my PC right now, so we're just going to leave it on Eevee. We're going to go back to here. So now that we've inset these things, we've inset the light, we have this going on here, we can go ahead and right click. We're going to shade this as smooth, so this will look like this. And then if we want to apply these in order from top to bottom, so easy way to do this is hitting this little drop down and hitting apply, or you can hit Control A with your mouse hovering over, and it will apply these. So now that's all that stuff that we just did should be applied. And if we want to add, like, let's say like a chain or like a bell or like a tag, all we got to do is you got to go up here. We're gonna go add. We're gonna grab another torus like we did before. We're gonna mesh torus. What I like to do is I'm real simple, like doing like my real simple like low poly. So we're just gonna shrink this down. We're gonna crunch it just a little bit so we get a little bit of an oval. What we're gonna do is we're gonna shrink it a little bit more. We're gonna pull it out. we're going to set it up where we like it. So I'm going to shrink it just a smidgen more. I got this guy, pull it into here, and we're going to stick this guy like right up top here. Stick it in there, and then we take another one. We're going to rotate it. You hit R to rotate. You actually type in the degrees you want. So I want another 90 degrees. And I hit R, 90, and we're going to do it on the X. Sorry, be on the Y, I think. Hold on, I always forget. Rotate 90 on the Y. It was right on the Y. So then we're going to bring this guy down. We're actually going to shrink these just a smidgen more because they're a little big. And so I'm going to rotate this guy just a little bit more. We're just going to do this by hand, by eye. Just bring this guy down just like this. And I want this and this to be together inside of here. Do a little simple like tag or something. And so for my tag, I'm just going to do something simple, and I'm just going to grab a circle here. And with this circle, I'm going to just bring it into edit mode, and I'm just going to hit F, which will fill it. We're going to hit E to extrude. And then we're actually going to add a subdivision onto this 2 times. Or actually, hold on. Let's not do that. Let's go ahead and just take this and just right click subdivide twice. And so the reason why we're doing that is now we're going to rotate this, and we're going to bring this down into where this little piece is for the little chain, for the little tag to hang. I'm going to stick this right in there. And we're going to shrink. We're going to line it up a little bit the best we can. Shrink it down. Just do it like this. I want it to be kind of like that, hanging on the edge like that. And so I want this tag here to have a hole in it. And so the easiest way to make a hole or to make an object intersect with another object is to add a boolean. So we're going to go up, we're going to go to the wrench again, go to modifiers, generate boolean. We're going to go, we want difference. So we're going to select this torus. And so what's going to happen here is if I hide this, you can actually see it cuts a hole for the torus. So we're going to actually shade that guy smooth here. So when we do this, it should be a little bit smoother. So this, just like that. We're going to actually shrink these guys down just a smidgen so it looks a little better. Shrink them down, pull it up. And so right here, we're just going to have a basic little tag on here. We can actually make this a little bigger. I'm forgetting how big this collar actually is. I want it to kind of match the scale a little bit. Bring this in just like this. And so what we're going to do here is the same thing that we just did for this. We had that boolean. We're going to go ahead and apply this boolean. We're then going to take these guys, we're going to combine them. So to combine, you're going to select both by shift clicking, left clicking each of them, and then you're going to hit Control J to join. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the collar, hit add, modifier, boolean, difference, and then we're going to select this torus right here. And so what should happen is it should cut a hole into the collar here, same thing we just did before. So now that's going to be in there. And what we really want to happen is before we apply this, is we're going to come back into our torus. I'm going to hide this guy real quick. We're going to come back into this torus. We're actually going to select this entire portion over here. We're going to select from about the midpoint, about the halfway from the side. And so, hold on, let me just do this side as well. So a little trick as well, if you ever want to get rid of a portion, if you just delete it and kind of snap it off here. So like I just broke off those 2 pieces. Now if I hit Control L, it'll link everything that's linked. So now that we took those off, this isn't linked anymore. Get rid of that. Bring the torus back. So now we don't have a hole all the way through, but if we turn this one off, we'll have a hole here for these guys to intersect, so it'll look a lot better. So now that that's there just like that, we're going to then go ahead and apply that boolean. And then we're going to add a little material into these guys. We're just going to make a little gold material here. I'll just give it a little bit of metallic, make it a little less rough. We'll do the same thing for this one. We're just going to take that same material and I think I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker, a little bit less rough, and a little bit more metallic. And we're gonna shade this guy smooth as well. So what you gotta be very careful about is when you're doing this and you're doing circles, a lot of the time, if you see, for example, here, when I did the Boolean, it decided that the geometry needed these points right here. So what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna dissolve. We're going to attempt to fix the geometry here, because what's going to happen is it's actually going to end up giving this really nasty, ugly line here. We don't really want that. And it does it the same on the back. So a better way to do this would be to basically take a plane, and what we're going to do is the exact same thing, but instead of using a circle off the rip, the plane is a lot better, because at first when we subdivide this, we're able to get a lot more on the surface, and that's what we want. We want more surface area with more vertices, because the more vertices we have, the easier it is for us to be able to edit and do Boolean and stuff with. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back into here. We're going to add a subdivision surface. I'm going to just crank it up a wee bit here. I think I added too many subdivisions, so hold on. So we're going to subdivide it. I'd say about that much may be fine. So we're going to subdivide it twice. So you're going to go, so once is just basic circle. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to crank up our subdivision to 2. We're not going to apply it yet. What we're actually going to do is we're going to select all these outside vertices here. And we're going to, this one's a little tricky. You're going to hold Alt, Shift, and S all at the same time. And what's going to happen is you're going to get these 2 arrows. And when you pull them, you're actually curving all of this geometry into a circle. And so now we have a really nice circle here that has way more surface area. We can actually subdivide this just a little bit more. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to do Alt Shift S. We're going to pull it in. We only want those outside vertices. If we grab anything on the inside, you can see it kind of like warps it. So we really just want the outside vertices. So we're just going to grab all the ones on the outside. Do Alt Shift S, pull it a little bit more, clean up that circle. And now we're going to just hit A to select it all. And then we're going to hit E to extrude. And so as you can see, what's happening now is we see all these extra lines on the inside here that we don't really want like this. And like I said before, when you're extruding or you're adding subdivisions or beveling, you always want to make sure you have an edge to be able to crease, because in this case, we want it to be flat on this side, right? So we're going to add an edge here. We're going to add an edge on the bottom. So what happens is, as you can see, it already smoothed it out. Like this is it before. We add one line here. We add another line down here. It smooths it out a lot better, and it looks a lot cleaner, especially when we right click and smooth it. So now we're going to go R90X. We're going to shrink that guy down. We're going to bring him inside of here. We're going to line him up with the little chain we made. And we're going to put him right inside of there. We're going to add a, where is it? Boolean modifier. There it is. We need the difference again on the inside here. We're actually going to move this guy just a little bit over. But as you can see, it's already shade smooth, and you see how much better it looks here. Here, I can apply the material on here. You may be able to see it a little bit better. I didn't mean to make a new one. Oops. It looks a little bit better than it did before. Now, the more subdivisions and things that we add to this will actually make this look a lot cleaner, a lot smoother. It also depends on the type of Boolean you're using as well. So as we change the type here, if we use this manifold one down here, it will look a little bit better. Just want to make sure it's actually cutting through here on that one. It's not. So with this one, we can do union, intersect, and allow us to basically kind of clean this up the best way possible, which is just kind of we can try to add some more geometry in here to see if it'll try to fix it up a little bit, but it's pretty much as good as it's going to get, because it's basically trying to pull off the low poly off for this one. So if we may be able to subdivide this one a little bit more. So let's see if we can fix that. Try to clean it up as much as we can. Anyways, when it comes to that tiny amount of detail, though, no one's really going to notice, especially because it's going to be about that big. So it's like if it's on somebody's neck. But now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and hit A on both of these and apply both of those. We can go ahead and combine these with Control J, and then do the same thing with the collar. Just combine them all, and there you go. You have yourself a little collar with a little light and a little bit of a tag. And then if you want to be able to rig up this stuff, it's real easy, and it makes the life a little easier now that we've done all this stuff separately, because when we come into here and we say we want to weight paint certain things, it makes it a little easier because all these different objects in here are actually separate. So like if I were to Control L and this one is linked to itself, same thing with this guy, same thing with this one, and same thing with this one. So it makes it a lot easier to be able to basically select things, especially when you're weight painting and you say like you add bones to this and you want to be able to rig it to where this little chain moves and things. Having them separate is a lot easier because let's say when I rig, let's say I want to do this portion of the chain. Well, I can select these three, hide them, and then I can paint specifically on this piece and be able to rig this up. But other than that, that is basically it. It's a simple little tutorial on how to make a collar. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and things. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. And yeah, if you want to see more of this type of stuff, just let me know. If there's anything specific y'all want made or need to know how to make, I'd definitely be glad to help. Thanks for watching.